Hey y'all, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make one of my absolute favorite fall desserts, and my littles like it too. This is a pumpkin spice monkey bread with a cream cheese pumpkin spice frosting slash glaze, whatever you want to call it, on top. Anyway, it is so good with coffee, and I really hope that you enjoy it. Stay tuned and I'm going to show you how to make it. Alright y'all, yeah, my sound might be just a little bit different. And if you hear a racket in the background, if you hear like cats, dogs, and feral children running around, it's because I'm not in my craft room with my regular lighting or anything. I'm in the kitchen, okay? So anyway, what you're going to need is about 2 pounds of biscuit dough, okay? If you want to make it from scratch, I have my wonderful buttermilk biscuit recipe on my blog. I will put that link down in the description box, and I'll also try to pin a comment. Sometimes YouTube unpins comments for some reason, I don't know why. But anyway, you're going to need about 2 pounds of dough. I was looking at canned biscuit dough, and like the big ones, like the grands or whatever they're called, I think they're like a pound each. So you'll need 2 cans of the big ones. If you're using like those little tiny things, get like 3 cans. Just get whatever you need to equal about 2 pounds of dough, okay? Because I found that that is the best amount to go in like a standard size bundt cake pan. But anyway, what I've done is I have cut them into quarters, and then over here, we're getting ready to knock things off the table. Over here, we have 1 cup of white sugar, 2 teaspoons of pumpkin spice, 1/2 cup of brown sugar, and 1/2 cup of pecan pieces. Now, for this part, we're only going to be using the white sugar and the pumpkin pie spice. So we're going to put all of our biscuit dough in here once we've cut them up, and then just take your white sugar and dump it on top, and then take your spices and dump it on top of that. Now you're going to take a big spoon and just stir it all together, or if your bowl has a lid, put a lid on it and just shake the bejesus out of it. Or you can, you can flip a piece onto the counter, or you can put it like in a big Ziploc bag and just give it a good shake. But anyway, make sure you stir it all up. We want this to be nice and coated. All right, so I'm going to do that. Just break up your little pieces if they stick together. You can see that black thing right there is like the leg to my tripod. I got a tripod to keep in the kitchen to make videos. And it isn't exactly like my other one. I don't have a lot of countertop space. But anyway, I'm going to make sure this is well covered, and I will be right back. Okay, I think that this is pretty well covered. Now let me get everything out of the way here. And we're going to get our bundt cake pan. This is just a standard size bundt cake pan. And then you're just going to take your biscuit pieces. You can grease your pan if you want to. This one is a very good pan. It's a non-stick pan. I've never had any problems with monkey bread sticking in it. But if you want to, go ahead and use butter, you know, whatever kind of oil you want to use on your pan. But anyway, I'm going to put all of these little pieces into the pan. Now, why am I not just dumping it all in there? Why am I not just dumping it? Because all of this cinnamon and sugar in the bottom that didn't stick, we're going to hang on to that, okay? All right, so all of my biscuit pieces are in the pan, and they're setting off to the side. So what we have here is just the rest of the cinnamon. I usually use cinnamon in this. But anyway, our pumpkin pie spice and our white sugar. So we're just going to dump this into our lovely pan here. I'm going to throw that in the sink. And then this is our brown sugar. Remember, 1/2 cup of brown sugar, and that was packed. And now we're going to add in this 1 cup of butter. And yes, I'm not using my homemade butter. Sometimes I don't use it for stuff like this. But 1 cup of butter. We also have our pecan pieces. This is 1/2 cup of the pecan pieces, and we're just going to dump that in as well. And now I'm going to go put this on the stove over medium heat, and we're just going to stir it until everything is all melted together. Alrighty, so this is looking and smelling good. So now, really simple. All we're going to do is just pour this or spoon it around, however you want to do it. Just all over the top. Kind of let that soak down in there for a second. You're going to spoon some more on there. All right, just all the way around. And then once you get all of this on there, we're going to throw this puppy in the oven at 350 degrees for about half an hour. Just kind of keep an eye on it. If you notice that the top is getting a little bit too brown, you know, just throw you some aluminum foil on top. But for me and my oven, 30-35 minutes, somewhere in there is usually what it takes. But yeah, just keep an eye on it. And if you really want to know if it's done, you know, you can take a fork and kind of just move it around just a little bit. Make sure there's no raw dough peeking back at you. But anyway, I'm going to throw it in the oven, and then we're going to let it cool down for about 15 minutes or so before we flip it out onto our pan so that it doesn't all fall apart. And I'll be back. Alrighty, so I pulled the monkey bread out of the oven and it's cooling down. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make the glaze to go on top. So what we have, 3 ounces of cream cheese, 1 tablespoon of butter. You can use salted or unsalted, whatever kind you like. 1 cup of powdered sugar, and a teaspoon of our pumpkin pie spice. So I actually stuck this in the microwave just for a few seconds, just to soften it up. So what we're going to do is we're going to mush it all together. We're going to mush the butter and the cream cheese together until it makes a nice, lovely, buttery, cheesy paste. All right, so it's pretty much all mushed together, and now we're just going to put that into the bowl with our cream cheese. With our powdered sugar. And then we're going to dump our spices in, and we're going to start to give that a good mix, just a little bit. Now I have some heavy whipping cream here, and I'm just going to drizzle in just a little bit. And then we're just going to keep adding that in and stirring this up until we get, you know, a glaze type consistency. Now your monkey bread, you want to serve it warm. That's when it's at its best. You're going to serve it warm. So you don't want your glaze to be really, really runny, because then if it is, you know, it's just all going to run everywhere and, you know, just run off the bottom. So I like to make mine just a tiny bit on the thicker side, which is why I use heavy whipping cream instead of regular milk. And that's looking pretty good, pretty good. Like I said, I know this looks a little bit thick. So I used probably, I don't know, about 2 teaspoons or so of the heavy whipping cream. All right, so now we are going to get back in frame. So now we're just going to stir, 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 and that's looking pretty good. Now you can beat this up with a hand mixer if you want to, or use a fork, you know, to kind of whisk it together. You can see like little pieces of the cream cheese in there. You know what, and that's okay. I don't have a problem with that. So I'm going to go get the monkey bread, and we are going to flip the pan over and invert it onto a plate. All right, so I have a plate on top of my pan here, and see, I'm holding it just like that, and then we're just going to flip it upside down. Don't let any of this run all over your hand. That's why I said to let it sit there and cool for 15 minutes or so before you do this. And then we're just going to shake it on out. Ah, I dropped a piece. Isn't that pretty? Oh, so pretty, so pretty. It's so delicious. You see all this beautiful, beautiful glaze that we already have going on there. So now I'm going to let that sit there and cool for just a few more minutes, and then we're going to scoop this on top. All right, so that has cooled down a little bit more, and now we're just going to take this glaze and we're just going to drizzle it on there in little blobs like so. And the longer you let that sit there, I won't do that on camera, it'll melt and it will drizzle down the sides, okay? So I'm just going to put some of that on there. We're going to let that sit, and then that will be that. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this. If you would, please give it a thumbs up. Click subscribe. Check me out on other forms of social media, the links to all of which will be in the description box down below. And I hope to see y'all next time.